Welcome to KBM Sports Talk. I'm Kevin, and today we got we got an interview with my old track coach, Adam Tanguay, or as I call him, Mr. Tanguay. And I hope you guys enjoyed this interview because it was very fun to do with my old track coach. And thank you, Mr. Tanguay, for doing this interview with me. I really appreciate it. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, join the KBM Sports Talk family, and show some love in the comments to my old track coach, Mr. Tanguay. So, I am here with my old track coach and Chicopee High track and field coach for indoor and outdoor, Adam Tanguay, or Mr. Tanguay as I always call him. And this past season, the year after I graduated, you had your first indoor track season that was fully after last year, and you won Coach of the Year. What was that feeling like, and was it the most successful moment in your coaching career? And if it wasn't, what was your most successful?
Well, first, I want to say thanks for having me on, Kev. I appreciate you taking the time and reaching out to me. So this is great, and I'm excited for you for all this. Just in terms of the award this year, it was surprising. I can say that much. Our first season back after COVID was still not a regular season. We had two meets at Wheaton College way out in Norton, Mass. So for us out here in Western Mass, that was about an hour and a half ride. So, we didn't have the luxury of being right in our own backyard at Smith College. So, we had to travel. And then any other type of competition, we were either at Reggie Lewis, and then we even had a student athlete who made it all the way to nationals. So we had to go down to Staten Island. So really, to say the least, the season was kind of like always on the road, always moving. But the kids responded great. They were just looking forward to the opportunity to participate, and that's all you can ask for. As for the award, honestly, surprised. I don't wake up in the morning. No coach wakes up in the morning thinking like, this is the year I'm going to win that award or this is about me. So, we have so many good coaches in the area in Western Mass that really look out for each other, look out for their kids. So to hear that, it was a really nice surprise, and wasn't expected.
Was that the first national player, the player to go to nationals that you've ever coached?
For me, yeah, the first Maria Ferretti, she's a sophomore, shot putter. That was the first one that I've coached. Now, we've had others in the past that have made it to nationals, qualified, but at that time I wasn't on it. It was a great experience for us. We went to the Nike National Indoor Championship in Long Island, and it was quite the experience.
Was it like going off of that with going down there? What was the atmosphere like? Because like in Western Mass, the atmosphere is much different than I bet it was down there. What was that atmosphere like?
Yeah, first it was really business-like because you had kids from all over Tennessee, California, kids committed to go to Oregon, kids going all over Division I, Division II, everywhere. So it was really business-like. Whereas Western Mass, you got a more hometown family feel. Like, you're familiar with the student athletes from other schools because you see them on a weekly basis. There's friendly competition, and I think it's a much more relaxed atmosphere, really, frankly, in our PVIAC league because of just the closeness of it. So I really appreciate everything that's done out here in Western Mass for our student athletes, and like I said, it was kind of, I don't say sterile, but like I said, it was really business-like out there. But beautiful facility. Great competition. So it was a great experience for us.
That's awesome. I didn't even know that someone made nationals. I really didn't know. That's really awesome that she did that. So in this, I know you coach football too, and you coach track now. What was the biggest pressures of being a coach?
It's just making sure that our student athletes are doing the right thing. I mean, that's always the hardest thing. You have pressures from your friends, from peer groups, and it's just making sure that we can provide those bits of advice, those life lessons that can get kids going in the right direction. Because wins or losses, yeah, we remember those, but it's the long lessons that are most important, the long life lessons. And I feel that's the biggest pressure. Can we reach a student athlete that might be struggling, that has problems at home, struggles in school? Yeah, you want to prepare for a Friday night in football or for a meet. You do the best you can, drills, techniques, fundamentals, but at the end of the day, are they going to graduate and they're going to be the one, individuals who will help and give back to the community? That's the biggest pressure in my book.
So you were talking about like student athlete. 'Cause I remember I was a student of yours 2 times, one online and then one in person. How do you correlate academics with coaching? Because like I said, you teach me, and I know that you teach some of the players that you coach. So how do you correlate that?
Obviously in terms of sports, there's no sports without academics, right? We have to get done in the classroom first. That's got to be number one priority. But in terms of like teaching lessons, it's just like with sports, it's almost trial and error. A kid's not going to get over the hurdles the first time, right? They're going to trip and fall. A kid's not going to get in the high jump pit the first time. They're going to knock the bar over. Just like a kid's not going to get an A on a paper the first time. They might have to write and rewrite. So it's about trial and error. And as long as people are putting their best effort forward, they're trying in class, they're putting in the work, that's where the success is going to come. And if you're a student athlete, hopefully that can translate to what you do on the field or the court. You're going to try in the classroom. You're willing to accept failure because we can't get better without it. And then if you go to the court, you go to the field and maybe you don't win that time or you have a bad practice, can you bounce back and find that success? So they're hand in hand.
So going with the willing to fail, like willing to be able to fail and know that you're going to fail sometimes, and then just picking yourself back up and keep going. Is that your coaching philosophy, or what is your coaching philosophy if that isn't it?
I've never really like sat down and wrote it out or thought about it really. I get up every day, same time, brush my teeth, same time, have my cup of coffee, same time, and I'm on the road at the same time. I mean, consistency. So I think consistency in life, in terms of a philosophy, being accountable, being reliable. Friend of mine, a great coach, once said, be accountable to your greatness. Some kids have tremendous potential and tremendous ability, but they don't want to be held accountable to it. They like the local notoriety, the popularity that comes with it. But to be truly great, you have to work hard. And, I think we want to be accountable to that type of stuff. And I think that's important. So every day, can you bring it and can you give your best? Even the days you don't want to, even the hard days where something's going on, can you do your best? And that's all we look for as my coaching staff goes forward.
So going with the kid's potential, you see a kid with really high potential that doesn't have any prior track experience, like me. And I was a basketball player my whole life and baseball player. And then freshman year, I get cut, go to track, no clue what I'm doing, but I know I can jump high and I'm fast. How do you judge a person's skill and correlate them to a event?
Yeah, I think just like with class we were talking about, we have the opportunity to try different things. Does this person have stamina? Can they run a 400 or a 300? Does this person have spring? Can we get them to jump? Can they jump high or jump far? Can they throw? Or how strong are they? So we have the luxury of trial and error, and we can put a student athlete into different events and see what the results are, and also what they enjoy. Like they might say, "Hey, listen, I don't like the hurdles." They might be really fast and have the flexibility and again the stamina and the strength for that, but they say, "I don't like it. I'm nervous by it." Okay, so we'll listen to what they have to say, and then we'll steer them in a direction that might still be beneficial for them and for the overall team too.
So say you have an athlete that is struggling a lot. How do you help that athlete become not struggle no more, get out of that slump? even if it's in the classroom or on the track?
I think it's communication. It starts with communication. With athletics, it's a little different. I can record a kid jumping. I can record a kid's start, their follow through on their throws, whatever it might be. You watch film in football, whatever it might be. You could break down the event. You can break down their technique and say, oh, look, you're standing up too tall, or you're leaning back too much, whatever. And maybe break it down in that way, and then build back up from there, so then they can understand too, and then they can see as well. Classroom, it's a little different, where you're not filming anybody, but you can certainly say, hey, listen, look at your paper here. You didn't write a thorough hypothesis. You didn't write a great thesis statement. How are you going to conclude this? So if we communicate with each other, I think that's the most important way to get a kid back up. And again, let them know that you're on their side, right? We want to see success. And success is different for every kid. Not every kid's going to jump 22 feet, right? Not every kid's going to high jump 6'8". But if a kid can, who starts the season hitting the bar and they finish the season jumping, their best, well, there you go. That's success.
So now talking about adversities, what have you faced as a coach that has been the biggest adversity, and how have you dealt with it?
I think honestly, it's been the pandemic in the last 2 years. We've seen our numbers across the board in all sports in our town, in Chicopee, dwindle. Either kids are nervous to come out, which is understandable, or there's just apathy. The competition, which is unfortunate, that exists between pay-to-play sports like travel soccer, AAU basketball, the enticement of prep schools, right? All those factors pull our student athletes away from what we want to accomplish. So it's a major adversity, a major challenge for us is to, one, get kids out, two, get the kids to stay, to buy into this, even if it's tough, right? Maybe some of that first or even first 2 years might be a struggle, losing seasons, getting beat up by some other competition, but getting them to trust the process. And then maybe year 3, year 4, that's where the success comes. Some kids might not have the stamina for that. So how do we build a culture that will kind of keep feeding itself? I think very fortunately for us at Chicopee High, we've been able to do that, especially with the track. We have a lot of student athletes now who have been going off to college to participate in track, and then they come back and they give back. That's been huge. That gives our student athletes the opportunity to see that what they're doing now could translate to the next level, because they see someone who was in their shoes just 2, 3, 4 years ago.
Yeah, and I know that because I graduated, and I know you have Deshaun, who went to AIC. He comes back and helps the long jump and jumpers a lot. And Miss Carperis, she was a track and field star. And I see that you always have people come back, and I feel like that's an amazing thing about track. Like you see it in some other sports, but I feel like the program at Chicopee High, you see it a lot more. And I think it's just also, I think it's because how good of a coach and how well you are able to communicate with your players. Like with me, I was a challenging kid. I know I was. I know I was one of the most challenging kids you probably ever had. But you always pushed me to get better because you saw something in me that sometimes, even when I didn't see it, you always pushed me to get better. And I love that. That's one of the reasons why I always come back to the track to see you. Even if I know you, I will still come back to see you because you have pushed me to get better, and you've always seen the potential in me. And I feel like that's what a lot of the players see, and students too see, that you're willing to take the shirt off your back to make sure that they know that you're on their side and that you want to see them grow and reach the highest peak that they can get, because you see that highest peak and you're trying your best to make sure they see it too. And I love that fact that you've always done that since day one. I remember Noelle, my cousin Noelle, she always told me about that Tanguay is the best coach you ever have and one of the best people you ever meet in the world. And I never thought I would do track. I thought I was play basketball all 4 years. And then that happened, and I would go and do track, and I missed track more than I missed baseball. I can admit that. I wish Winnick, when I went to Winnick, had a track team. I would still be there probably. And that's all attested to you, because I fell in love with track. I love that it was a family. Family is a thing in track. Like me and Deshaun talk about all the time. It was a family at Chicopee High with the track team, and in a way, you were the father of it. You were the father of that, and it was awesome. And I thank you for all those memories, and especially on the bus ride home from States when we stopped and got pizza, and then you had like 3 pieces of pizza. It was the funniest thing in the world.
I love pizza.
I know. You got back in the bus, you were like, "How many pieces do you have?" You're like, 2. I ate the other one. We're just like, we didn't even get back on the bus yet. You're like, "Hey, it's good pizza." That was one of the funnest bus rides I've ever been on. And thank you for all those opportunities, and thank you for doing this interview. It really means a lot to me.
No problem. Listen, I appreciate you taking the time. For me, I was a part of the program as a kid, and it goes all the way back to, I got to shout out the legend like Ernie Goff, because he's really the father of the program. I mean, without him, there's no Western Mass title back in the 90s. There's no league champions all those years. He and his wife, Marianne, who both coached, they're really the catalyst for all this. Coach Estradios with the boys, the guy's black and white. If you can't come and perform, if you can't commit, then, don't waste people's time. And his support for me has been fantastic. So all of it together. And then of course the kids who are willing to buy into it all. It's really important, but I appreciate the nice words. So hey, thanks again, Kev. And best of luck. I look forward to watching more, hearing more from you. And of course, you're always welcome at practice.
Thank you. Thank you guys for watching. And make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, join the KBM Sports Talk family. And until next time, see ya.